Thank you very much for coming. Just leave it to me. As soon as I hear from the Minister about the pension, I'll get in touch with you. Give it about 10 days.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ward. Oh, I'm ever so glad I came. I was that worried. I told the doctor I couldn't sleep, and he said, you go and see Mr. Wardle. He'll attend to you.
Well, I don't know about that.
You know what I mean.
Yes. I'm glad to have been of help.
This way, Mrs.
Oh, thank you. Good night.
Right, Mrs. Beckley.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, it's a lot.
Yeah, look, Tony, do you mind if I dash off? I want to get down to Addison's before it gets dark. Just got time for a sandwich at the Lion. My wife will kill me if I go on like this.
Will you push off? I don't want to come between a man and his wife. I'll look up. Sorry, old chap, the session's over.
It's very important.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
You might do, Mr. Wardle.
Aren't you Bob,
Blore.
Blore, that's it, of course. I remember now, the last time I saw you must have been about, 5 years ago at the stadium. When you beat that Spaniard, Gomez.
Gonzales.
That. Why don't you come in for a minute?
Keeping you pretty busy, I suppose.
Yes, we're kept pretty busy in the house.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, now, what would you like me to do for you? I'd better have your full name and address.
Robert Reginald Blore.
Mr. Robert Blore.
24 Murchison Drive.
Murchison Drive. Didn't you once win the middleweight championship?
Oh, that was a long time ago. I gave it up. Mrs. used to always say, they get the cash, you get the bash. Bit too fat for it now.
That's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. Well, after Charlie Hardy, I was out for 48 hours. Well, after that, I'd had it. That's when we bought the shop.
Oh, I see.
Went like a bomb for a start. Well, you know how it is. Everybody come to see Bob Blore. And the mighty right end. Kids used to always say, come on, Bob, show us how you done old Gonzales. And I say, right out, kids, with the old left and right. There you are, sir. It's all there.
What is?
The papers. All the papers connected with my case.
Oh, perhaps you better let me study them.
These papers don't leave my hands.
As you like.
But I've come to put my case to you. You do say you're available to constituents.
Of course.
And you're prepared to study my case.
Certainly, my dear chap. Now, would you like to come next week, or would you rather put it in writing?
Next week? No, not next week. I won't be available. I'd like to do it now. What? There's nothing like doing it now, is there? Is there?
No, I suppose not.
Right. Let's settle then. Never without a scissors, my missus always says. See, Tony, I've been keeping a file and I've been cutting out of the papers anything to do with my case. Others like it.
Do you mind if I make a call?
No, go ahead. I got time.
Damn, it's dead. Henley must have switched us off.
Hello, Mrs. B. Well, yeah. Has, you seen Bob this evening? Oh, he was in a while back. Didn't stay for long, though. He didn't say, anything wrong, dear? No, oh no.
I'll begin at the beginning. It's a long story. It goes back 4 years.
Well, let's have it.
Well, it's a compensation case. You see, I've been getting some pretty good fights. Barney, that's my manager. He'd been picking them, see? I was on the phone now, Barney was. You name it, he's been there. Rome, Madrid, Montevideo. Always knew when there was a boy that was just right, you know? Believe it or not, Barney could tell to a round when... Never mind about that. Good bloke, old Barney. He never took more than 30%.
Well, that's quite a slice.
That's quite a slice. Would have been all right except for Charlie.
You mean Barney arranged...
I mean that I run into Charlie's right hand. Well, after that, Barney and me, well, we split up.
I see.
But there was a compensation, see?
What compensation?
You know, Mr. Wardle, I don't think you're following me.
Yes, I follow very closely. I just want to be exact.
That was a good question you asked the other day.
What question? I'm always asking questions.
They always get away with it, usually. That poor kid never had a chance.
You mean my question about neglect in the children's ward?
Yeah, that's right, that's the one.
Yes, well, it certainly shook 'em up a bit. I've always been against any covering up between doctors and hospital and regional boards.
Yeah. You got any children?
Yes, I've 2 young sons and a daughter. What about you?
We had a son.
Oh, yes, I see.
Sorry, there was a draft. You know, Mr. Wardle, when you're a fighter, you've got to keep out of drafts. If there's anything can do you in before a fight, it's a draft. Or sex.
Sex?
Yeah, sex. Well, it makes you tired, doesn't it? I reckon there's too much sex. I reckon that if all the people in this country was to cut down their sex expenditure by 10%, I've been working it out, well, there'd be that much more energy available for industry. You follow?
Yes, it's interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Well, I'd like you to take that up with the Prime Minister.
Take what up?
Well, a question of sex and you know, cutting down on output.
Oh, yes, it's a very interesting idea, Mr. Blore. I'll mention it to him. I'm often having a chat with him in the smoking room. Is that what you wanted to discuss with me?
Can't you tell when a man's having you on? Well, some people don't like to be human. I'm here on serious business, Mr. Wardle. Can't you tell the difference?
Of course, yes.
All right, then. No hard feelings.
Well, then, tell me all about it.
There was the kid. Well, they wanted to put him away. We wasn't having that. No, we kept him at home, and the missus, well, we managed. It kept us in a bit, but we managed.
Yes, I understand. What exactly was wrong?
Well, you know what kids are like. It was a bit wild, I'll give it that. But he was a lovely kid. Lovely. Pretty as a picture. Just 7 when it all happened. wish I brought the missus. She could tell you much better than me.
Well, would you like to come again? With her?
You trying to get rid of me, Mr. Wardle?
No, no. Carry on.
Well, it was a bit wild, I give you that. But kids fight in the schoolyard. And there was that brick. He did hit the other kid. So they brought him up before the juvenile court. We had to go along. I took it for a load of rubbish. But it choked the missus.
Yeah. They take it hard.
That's right, they do that. Well, can't you keep him under proper control? Says Mrs. Elsie Willison, JP. I saw your last boxing match. You're a strong man. You ought to be able to.
What happened next?
Well, what happened next was a few weeks later we was back there again. He'd set the school curtains alight. It burned out his classroom, the kid, and his teacher, Miss Ryan.
Very distressing.
Well, you see, next thing you know, they said, Mrs. Willison, and they had a psychiatrist, Dr. Bevan, and a juvenile, children's officer. They said, your child has got to be put away under proper care. Well, what does that mean, I says. Well, they said he's got to be put away for treatment. What for, I says. Your child, says the doctor, has a psychosis. Well, next thing that happens, they took the kid away. Then a few weeks later, we get a message with a policeman. Come at once to the hospital. Derwent, that was his name, after the missus's date. Derwent's very ill. He was dead. Imagine it, Mr. Wardle, taking only kid away. A few weeks later, he's dead. Strangled next to men's ward with a leather belt. I didn't do nothing like. See, I believed he was dead. And at first I wouldn't let her see him. Then I went to Dr. Bevan.
What did he have to say?
He said he was sorry.
Sorry.
That's it. Lack of staff, tragic death, difficulty of supervision. Here. Hey, look. That's what the inquest said. Look.
I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah. Everybody's sorry. Dr. Bevan was sorry. I broke his jaw in 2 places. 6 months suspended sentence. It's not enough. No, it's not good enough. I want the case reopened. I want you, Tony, to reopen the case.
There's no one here.
The door was open.
But it's always open. That's why it's the party headquarters. They've gone, I tell you.
Come on.
Are you after Tony?
There must be some other constituents on their way up.
You're not going anywhere till we're through.
Constituents arriving after 8. We'll have to make a new appointment.
Well, that's it then, isn't it?
20 past 8 now.
Oh, we can't bother him now.
Don't be bothering him. What do you think they pay him for?
Oh, come on. He probably hasn't had his tea yet.
Tea? Oh, all right. Come on. Come on. See.
Good. I've gone. Sit down, Tony. Now, where were we?
You wanted me to see if I'm not quite clear. If there could be a new inquiry into your son's death.
For a start. You see, there's Mrs. Elsie Willison, JP, chairman of the juvenile court, that dirty bitch. I went to see her a few weeks after I saw Dr. Bevan. I took a belt with me, like my son was strangled with. This belt. Put that horrid thing away. Sit down, have a cup of tea. Yes, Mrs. Willison. And then she says, this is neither the time nor the place, and smiles. It's no laughing matter, Mrs. Willison, I says. No, she says, and you better go. You're not very busy, Mrs. Willison, I says. You better listen. I went on talking, calm like, and showed her how my boy was strangled. I only wanted her to know. When she screamed, I went away.
All right, Mr. Blore. I'll take up the matter with the Minister of Health from the hospital aspect and the Home Secretary from the point of view of the police.
I said the Prime Minister.
Of course, he has the overriding responsibility. I'll raise it with him.
I want you to raise it on the floor of the House.
Of course.
And follow it through by every means.
Yes, of course.
I wrote to the Mayor.
And what did he say?
Oh, he sent me to you. And I wrote to the Queen. It's my constitutional right.
And what did she say?
Her private secretary referred me to you. So you see, it's all in your lap. It's up to you.
Tell me, Mr. Blore, where would you like me to write to you?
What are you getting at, Tony?
Oh, nothing special. I mean...
I told you my address.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you did.
Are you suggesting I... Is that it, Tony? Is that it?
Dr. Sterling, please.
Dr. Sterling? Hello? Hello, Dr. Sterling here.
There's one thing, Tony. I don't like to be belittled. I don't like to be belittled, and all of them, well, they haven't been straight.
Look, Bob, I think we could talk more easily if you would sit down.
Get up, Bob. Sit down, Bob. You sound like all the rest of them. Who the hell do you think you are? Get up, Bob. Sit down, Bob. Lie down, Bob. And then they come and put them things on you. Go to sleep, Bob. Mr. Blore, that's my name. Mr. Robert Reginald Blore. I don't like folks what get familiar, see?
Now, look here, Mr. Blore, you've got to understand this. I want to help you. I really do. That's my job. That's why I come here once a week.
We won't need that, will you? You sound just like all the rest of them. That's what they all say. We want to help you, Mr. Blore. You see, Tony, I knew from the beginning. You're with them.
Them? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, of course not. I expected you to say that. You're with them, Tony. You know it.
You don't understand.
You don't understand. Yeah. You're bone from the neck up, Bob. So you don't understand. Maybe it's you who don't understand. I'd like to show you how it happened. Oh, no. Now, that's not very nice, is it? Dear me, what are they going to say down Westminster, eh? MP interviews his constituents with a chair in his hand. Now, put it down, Tony. Ah, now there's a good lad.
Look, Mr. Bloor, I'm trying to help you. I understand how you feel. I'm a father myself.
You're with them. Oh. You'll understand it when you feel it. It's all right, I've done it before. No, no. They understand it when they feel it. Ah! 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 Ah!
Bob? Bob, I'm talking to you, Bob. You should have told me, Bob, you was coming here. I've been ever so upset, looking everywhere for you. Just look at you. Leave the gentleman alone. Come on now. And put your belt on. I can't have you going about like that. Dr. Sterling's going to be awfully cross. We'll be so late getting back.
Back?
They don't like you staying out too long, do they, love? And I'm responsible for getting him back on time. Leaving me a dance like that. Come on now, we must go. I'm sorry, sir. Sometimes he does get a bit worked up, but he's as good as gold inside if you treat him nice like. Wouldn't harm a fly.
I understand.
Goodbye, Mr. Wardle. Thank you for listening to me. When I come back the next time, I'll tell you the rest of the story.
I think, Mr. Bloor, you'd better write. I'm really very sorry about your son.